Hey, welcome back to Chasing Giants TV, everyone. Out here today doing some more tree projects on my property, and a few tips that I want to share with you. So the first thing I did when I got here today was sprayed all my trees with Mike's Mighty Micros. And if you look behind me, you can see that those apple trees and pear trees that are in those cages, that's the brand new orchard that I just planted this spring. Got some young clover coming on, you know, there underneath, not well established yet, but by fall it should be, and definitely by next spring I'll have a fantastic stand of clover. So this orchard is only about maybe an acre and a half, and if I turn the other way, right next to the orchard is a triangle shaped piece that it's about an acre and a half as well. And you can see all kinds of trees that are started out there. These are trees that I planted. There's a wide variety of things. There's chestnuts, persimmons, apples, pears, oaks, cedars, some various shrubs. But the deer just love that little triangle. And like I said, it's about an acre and a half. And not this past spring, but the spring before, I found 8 shed antlers in that little triangle. And if we go beyond and look beyond this little triangle, see those trees behind me, those bigger trees, right on the other side of that is a food plot. So what happens is the deer come out of my sanctuary, which is a wooded area there behind me. They follow, they come out into this old CRP and tree planting, also the orchard, and then they head to that food plot there behind me. And it's just a perfect transition from the thick bedding cover to that open food plot. And eventually I'll probably let this apple orchard grow up as well. But I'm going to get those trees that really established well and get that clover established well. And I'm probably talking like 5 to 7 years in the future, I will just quit mowing that as well. But first I want to get those trees established really good. So today I was in here spraying the mics on those. Also, if you look behind me, in that tree tube there is a persimmon tree. Got several grafted female persimmon trees. Got those from Blue Hill Wildlife Nursery. They have the best persimmons that I've ever seen, and highly recommend them. Grafted female persimmons. They got, I don't know, 5 or 6 different varieties. But I've had fantastic luck with all of them, and they've just grown really well. But I want to give you a couple tips on these persimmons. So you see that persimmon is in the tube. I hope you can see where I've sprayed around that tube earlier this spring. That's so that tree is not competing with roots from weeds and such. It can grow without that competition and really get established quick. I'm going to walk up here and show you how that tree is growing right out of the top of that tube. And that's something that needs addressed, because a lot of times the deer will come along and stand up on their hind legs and they'll eat that tree that's coming out, because that's young, tender growth. So when I came along here with Mike's Mighty Micros a little bit ago, you know, I sprayed the top of this tree that's coming out of the tube. I also stuck my nozzle of my sprayer down in that tube and sprayed some Mike's Mighty Micros down in there. I'm going to walk down here. I want to show you something else. So I just explained how deer will sometimes eat those trees when they come out of the tubes. So here the next tube, I haven't addressed this yet. And if you look real close, you can see where the deer have ate off the top of this tree as it's growing out of here. And they will go right down the row and they'll eat the tops out of every one. And I should have been here earlier taking care of this problem. So here's how I go about it. I take some 36-inch chicken wire and I make about a 12-inch diameter ring, and I use it, I weave it in between the stake that I use for the tube. I weave it in there and to hold it in place. And when that tree grows out of the top of the tube, I'll come over here to the next one. So when that tree comes out of the top of the tube, it's protected by that chicken wire, so the deer cannot browse the top off of it. So persimmons, make sure you put them in a tube, protect them when they come out of the top, spray around them to you know, give that tree a chance to establish without competition down in the root zone. The other thing is, I've found that persimmons respond extremely well to nitrogen. So what I've been doing is I've been mixing urea, which is 4600. 46 is the nitrogen. And I've been mixing it with triple 15 at a 50-50 ratio. And then I'm coming in and I'm putting about a drinking cup full of that around each one of these trees there in that bare area in the spring before they green up. And I like to do it right before rain so that it leaches into the ground really quick. But you know, then when that tree comes out of dormancy, those nutrients are down in the root zone where they can utilize it. Coming up now on some chestnut trees. Got a few of these chestnuts. As you can tell, they're pretty well established now. But what I want to show you is that you'll notice they were also planted in tubes years ago. And they just grew out the top of those tubes. And I leave them on as long as I can to protect those trunks from deer rubbing on them and such. Again, if you look down at the bottom, I spray around them just to, you know, to keep that competition down in the root zone. These trees are big enough now that I could quit spraying around them. But on these tubes, it's important that when that tree starts to fill out the tube, I'll come in and I will slice that tube open with a utility knife. And I want to leave it on there as much as possible to keep the deer from rubbing it. But I also don't want that tree to totally fill that tube. And the reason for it is a lot of times that holds moisture and bugs and such, and they can actually girdle your tree and kill that tree. I've lost a few oaks that way years ago, and I've learned that when that tree gets close to filling out that tube, I will slice that tube with a utility knife. Show you another one right here. You can see how I've done that. Let that tree expand and get air and such, discourage bugs and rodents, mice, whatever from getting in there. But anyway, this summer I'm really gonna pay attention to my trees and nurse them along. The idea is I want to get these trees all established well, and I want to stop planting trees on my farm. Believe it or not, I've just about put trees everywhere I can. Some of them I've got a little bit of issue with that I'm having to nurse them along. I've documented that in past videos, some recent videos actually. So anyway, hope some of these tips help you. Remember that fertilizer. This is the first year that I mixed the urea, the 4600 with the triple 15, and it's made a huge difference on that growth I got from that first flush of growth on these trees this spring. Especially my persimmons, they've really responded well to it. But you know, in the past, I was just using triple 15 by itself, and it absolutely worked and helped. But you know, increasing the nitrogen in that mix has really made a huge difference. So I will continue to do that each spring until these trees get well established, and then I'll just walk away and let them go. But anyway, hope this helps, gives you some ideas. Turn back around and show you that CRP area. I don't know how well you can see some of those trees that are growing out there, but all those trees I planted for the most part. There's getting to be a few volunteers out there, but I bet I've got probably a dozen or more varieties of different tree species. I mean, with the persimmons, the chestnuts, the apples, the pears, there's probably 4 to 5 different species of oaks, just this and that. So it gets better and better every year. Those apple trees that are out there have been out there for quite a while, and they're starting to produce fruit and drop fruit. So that will just be an added attraction as those deer come out of that sanctuary behind me, filter through all this, and then hit the food plot behind that row of trees there behind me. So anyway, you'll be seeing a lot of videos from me this summer on the various projects I'm doing, because well, definitely a week doesn't go by that I'm not out here on the property doing something this time of the year. And you know, the human intrusion question is going to come up. You know, what about the human intrusion with you doing all these projects? Well, I've got 2 things to say about that. Where that human intrusion happens and when it happens is a big deal. So You know, I'm out here midday while those deer are bedded. I'm not doing any projects back in the sanctuary. I'm not doing anything out in the middle of that switchgrass where the deer are bedded this time of year. I don't make any effort to be quiet. I just go about my business. I ride back on my side-by-side. I make noise recording videos or whatever while I'm out here. As long as those deer know where I am and can keep track of my location, they'll just keep bedded tight, and I can go about and my work and get my projects done. But anyway, hope you guys are having a great summer, and stay tuned for more videos.